Good evening. How's everyone doing? It's the last month of the year. It's December now. My name is Mackenzie Wilson. Alongside me, my host, my partner in crime, Chris Noble. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Very good. Yourself, Mac? How's things in Calgary?
I am ecstatic. I'm energetic. I'm tired. I am full of a lot of emotions right now. I worked at 2 a.m. last night because that's what I do. I had a nap at 8, woke up, and I was like, oh, I'm wide awake. And I kind of went to 2 a.m. If you guys have been paying attention to our Facebook group, you've seen lots of changes coming down the road, or changes that we've had done. We had 3 live shows in a row. That's a first. So we did a workshop on Monday with Landlord Credit Bureau. We had their VP, Grant Bushwell, walk through people how to use their service. We had some really good feedback. Plus, one of our members already collected $850 the same day he signed up as tenant. So that was pretty powerful. Yesterday, we had Greenleaf on talking about the professional approach property management companies take on placing tenants. And it was a really good contrast to what we've been talking about on the tenant screen side as well. And really just kind of how to showcase yourself in a professional image to really eliminate a lot of that riffraff that we call those pesky bad tenants and professional tenants. So we are 3 shows in, Chris, in the last month or 3 weeks here on tenant screen. Probably, to me, my favorite subject, as I've said that lots. I have a YouTube channel dedicated to it. Now we've talked about that as well. By the way, if you guys are looking for a better way to tune in the show other than Facebook, because it's not really the best for it, YouTube's really easy. Head over to findgreattenants.com. You can subscribe there, stay up to date. We also have a new community platform called Alberta Landlord Community.ca. If you head over there, we have our own dedicated event calendar now. Plus, go figure, this is kind of cool. We actually have topics that we can categorize, or sections we can keep all of our information categorized and make it easy to find information that gets added to the group. So the one challenge with our Facebook group is we have lots of really good pro tips that the members are sharing, but it can be super difficult to find that information when it becomes old, because Facebook doesn't really do a very good job allowing you looking in the past. So what we're doing, that's why we have this new community platform, is we've got a whole platform where we can hashtag, categorize information, and find it really easy when you're looking for that specific answer that affects you in that situation right when you need that answer. So that's why we have that new platform. Well, one of the many reasons. And Chris, we've got training too, right? That 10 screen masterclass, it's up, it's live. We can talk quickly about that here, and then we'll get in the thick of it with Samuel. And plus, we know some member dealing with a really challenging problem right now. So once we get Sam on here, we're going to tackle that question first. That was Vanessa. She's dealing with an arrest at her property, and she's looking for some advice. Chris here, a retired RSMP officer of over 25 years. This is right up your alley, Chris. And let's see if we can help out Vanessa and get her to an actionable plan to get her through the thick of the challenging situation she's in right now.
Sounds good. Are you going to bring Sam in here? You might as well bring him right into the thick of this instead of leaving him in his show, in his little side room there.
Sam, how's it going, buddy?
Good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me back.
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
Thank you for giving your time again. We really appreciate it.
It's always fun to be here.
Yeah. Well, Sam, we covered so many topics with you and so much information, and we got such good feedback. It only made sense to continue on with having you on the show. So thanks for coming back.
No problem. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. 100%.
So while we're waiting for some people to join, we're only sitting with about 5 people right now. We can have a little idle chit chat until the numbers go up here. So one of the things I threw a post up real quick today during the day. I don't know if you saw that, Mac, where I was siding on the house there. So
was that before or after you got your Christmas beard on our banner?
I didn't catch that till I got home when you decided to give me my my nice white beard, and I appreciate that. That's nice. You kept my face warm out in the cold. So
well, you got more hair than me, Chris. So I had to just add to your ensemble there, and you look very jolly. So
I wish you'd give me an elf hat there, because you're the Santa in this big story here. So let's just chat with that, just touch base with that, and maybe the two of you can relate a little bit. Is one of the things about being a landlord, and if you want to call yourself a mom and pop's operation or a accidental landlord, and you're trying to get that equity or that curb appeal into your property, sometimes putting that little extra in. So, for example, working on a place where the curb appeal of this fourplex. I'm not particularly the owner of it, but I certainly am helping the other owner out as just an exchange of labor, which will pay it forward to me later. But this particular fourplex we're working on, we changed took the old siding off and we're putting on new hardy board. And wow, what a difference! Old yellow, nasty yellow that's been on since the beginning to now a nice green hardy board, and it's accented by the brown soffits and fascias and trim. It's looking really good, and the tenants are coming in and out, and they're going, "Wow, does that ever look great?" What that does with your tenant, it's a feel-good thing for them too. They like living there. They're going to want to live there longer. They don't feel like they're living in some kind of a slum or whatever their feeling was. It just changes it, right? Not that the place was a slum. It was a nice place to live. When I went inside, these places are all done up inside. So what they're doing now is they're changing the outside curb appeal, and it's going to be like a lineup to get into this place, right? So putting the extra time and energy in this example here, the contractor, I'm working right alongside the contractor. I'm learning how to put hardy board up. It's a lot different than putting vinyl siding up, and it's great. To go at it and do it. I feel confident putting my own up. That time and labor that I'm putting in there, or would put in on my own places, you think about it, every dollar you're saving is $1 in your pocket. $1 you don't pay out, $1 you have to go pay something else, whether goes towards your taxes or goes towards whatever it is you have to do, goes towards a rec. All those things, and then there's the market equity increase, or the market value increase that will ultimately increase your equity if you ever sell. So it all balances out by putting that extra in for yourself. I don't know what your thoughts on that, Sam, but
curb appeal actually is one of the very key factor for the tenant even willing to go into your house. Like I have, I show unit that look as good, and then tenant refuse to just come in, right? So curb appeal actually is a good investment for your dollars to get returns.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah, no, it looks great. It's going to look good because you have a tenant that walks up and you want to charge, let's pick a number for the conversation. You want to charge $1,500 a month to rent your place, and they can find one down the road for $1,350. But they go to that one and it's kind of like, and then they look at yours and go, you know what, this makes me feel good here. So maybe that's worth another $150. And you talk about that, Sam, the whole marketing aspect of it, right? So
definitely.
Well, yeah, what we would do even is when they come in is you can see, hey, the outside is so nice, the pride of ownership, right? When you invite your friend, you'll be proud of your place, right? You try to attach the emotion pieces to your feature, and then they will willing to pay extra couple bucks for that feature, basically.
Yeah. Well, we're up to about 10 people, and hopefully Vanessa's on here now, because I did send her a message telling her we were going to talk about it. Do you want to go into that topic, Mac, before we let Sam have full reign here? So
yeah, absolutely. Let's start chewing into it a bit, and we'll kind of build what's going on, explain it. Chris, I'll let you dive in the answer, and since you're probably our best expert at this certain scenario that this landlord is dealing with. So let me grab the post right now.
You can put the post out. I'm going to read through it a little bit here because I want to make sure I cover all. So the short of it is, Vanessa has a property where there was a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the scenario is, living together in the property, and the husband was arrested for domestic violence and taken away. As a result, the wife or girlfriend common law. She now is going to or the police will automatically apply for an emergency protection order. That'll be granted by justice of the peace or through the court systems right away. And then I think it's 14 or 21 days later, it goes up for further review. But as it stands, those orders are put out. Generally, what happens is he will not be able to come within so many meters, potentially kilometers, depends on the community where it's at. If it happened in another community, maybe he's not going to be there. They can say you're not allowed back in the community. It depends on the severities and what's practical. So if he's not allowed back, then he will be allowed back with one shot, police escorted, and be able to pick up whatever he needs to get. Sometimes spousal situations, they renew their they make amends of that relationship, and they do come back in after the whole court process has handled itself. But I understand in this scenario here, they want to know what to get him off the lease and go with just her and on the lease. So it's a couple different dynamics there. First off, you want to try to qualify her to be on the lease, or maybe she can pick up a co-signer. Can she actually make this payment? That's critical. You want to be looking at that. So what I would do, Vanessa, is I would actually take the time to go sit down with her and meet her face to face and talk about, finances and ask her, how are you going to make this payment without him?
Yeah, she does mention that in the post, and she says that's pretty difficult for her to make ends meet on her own without having a second, without sharing that rent with somebody else.
Right. So if that becomes the case, she has an out to get out of the lease. It's called Safer Places. She can actually apply for the lease to be broken. They give you and she'll get it. There'll be no question she'll get it, and you may as well just give into it if she wants to. I wouldn't even put her through it. I 100% if she wants out of that lease, she will get out because of the domestic violence and go somewhere else. Don't even force her to go down that road, because you already know the scenario. It'll be granted. There won't even be a second thought about it. So
what does she do then for the gentleman that's on the lease?
Well, with the gentleman being on the lease, criminal activities are certainly a portion of that, and that is an assault, domestic violence. It sounds like it would have been an assault of some sort in this case, and that is criminal activity there. Can he be removed from the lease? Yeah, I guess you'd have to go through the proper processes to get people out. You'd have to give them an official eviction notice, or what is it, 24 hours you're allowed for that, Mac, or is it 14?
Well, so and Bill said this last on our show, Bill Bico, you don't need the 14-day eviction if you've got grounds for eviction on the spot, right? So in this case, there's domestic violence, and breaking law is one of the regulations in your lease where it's a breach of lease, right? So what we advised, what I mentioned on the post earlier today, was to get some documentation from the police, a case number, an email from the arresting officer, whoever's in charge. Get some sort of confirmation of what was done, because then you can take that and go right to RTS and file it and get your eviction right off the bat and say, you know what, for my tenant safety, I want this guy out. Let's not call him a gentleman. I mean, call a spade. So let's get this guy who's a threat and not being helpful.
Well, actually, you bring up a good point. We talk about having to get documentation. Yeah, she doesn't actually need to even go to the police. She can actually go to her tenant, build your relationship with your tenant. If you think you're going to keep her and you're going to be able to keep her, then get her on board with you. Get a copy of whatever documentation she has submitted as part of the package. And there is no privacy issues there, because all this is public information, because it's in the courts. Once something's in the court, it's public, unless there is a publication ban, and usually that only comes because there's minors involved. So whatever she can provide you, you can put that in the court document. You'll show the actually, this is that. You know what? Just thinking about this is gold, because you submit an emergency protection order in your package to have him evicted. It's a slam dunk at that point. That's your gold pass right there. Perhaps there's a way with family that you could bring in a co-signer to help keep her there. Someone in the family can help out, or maybe there are some. We can get some of our other. We got 2,100 members now. There's some people that I'm sure involved in the social aspect of finances with the province. Maybe there are some funds she can go and attach to get her help to pay for that rent. So social services of some sort or whatever, right? So
yeah. Okay, well, so that'd be it. So the action steps, quick. Let's recap this for Vanessa or anyone in this situation dealing with domestic violence or some sort of arrest in your property, and you need that particular tenant out. Is go right to the RDS, file, and what was the wording you used there, Chris? Emergency.
It's emergency protection order. Yeah.
You're asking for an emergency protection order.
Well, she will. The tenant's already gone and done that. What I'm saying is, yeah, you ask the tenant for the copy of that and put that into your package.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So you do get some documentation from your tenant, and if this is the specific piece you're looking for, pretty much outlines a one-way golden ticket to get that person out of the property. Right.
So here's the thing, right? If that tenant can't afford to stay there and she says, well, I'm going to have to go to Safer Places and get an eviction. What I'm telling Vanessa or anybody else listening, you already know they're going to get it. Don't even fight it. Let her give you the 30 days and she's out. Go get the eviction for him, get him out, and start over fresh.
Yeah.
Somebody says, well, it's all in how you deal with the damage deposit. The damage deposit stays with the house. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, he's forfeited it, and it's forfeited it to her. Don't even debate. Don't get involved in that. You don't have to split that stuff.
If that question comes up, it's always the onus is on the tenants on the lease to negotiate among themselves. Use a landlord. Do not need to be part of that conversation. Do not go into that conversation because it's just it doesn't get you anywhere. You don't need to take on that battle. Just say, that's your responsibility as the tenants to negotiate. And if he's getting ejected and he's gone because of being arrested, well, then she'll probably assume it, and then you deal with wrapping up the lease if she can't afford it. You guys both mutually end it. Do the move out inspection like you'd end a normal lease. So
yeah.
Okay, cool. I think that's some good grounds for Vanessa. Hey, Vanessa, if you do hop on at some point here tonight, pop in a comment, say hi. We can quickly revisit or I'll have a quick mention. But let's segue to a new conversation here. And I'm going to do a quick little side thing here before we get I know Samuel's chomping at the bit here to start sharing some information. I want to do a quick shout out. So Chris, you twisted my arm last week. I didn't think I was ready. And I started this new community platform called the Alberta Landlord group. And 1 week today, we're 90 users right now, folks. So you guys are amazing. I am totally astounded with the growth. Like, just guys, high five to everyone that's joined up on the platform. If you're not there yet, hey, Sam, are you on this platform by chance?
Yeah.
Oh, good man.
I saw Sam. He applied. I saw it.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, it's a better tool to accelerate the learning. We've got awesome things that are going to go above and beyond what we can do in Facebook, and that's really the reason why we're going there. Our goals that Chris and I have is basically to be these community hosts, these catalysts for change, to give you guys the best tools to continue collaboration and helping each other and providing the golden nuggets of the information that you guys do. Because like every day I log in this page, I'm always learning something new. I'm just as much as a student as you guys are, and I'm just so thrilled to be along the ride with you guys. So that's why we're going this direction, and I truly believe it's going to power up and really supercharge your guys' ability to continue learning as landlords and be the best you can in this profession. So anyways, enough of that. Let's have some fun here. So Sam, we had you a mere 3 weeks ago, and we spent an entire hour just talking about screening tenants, the phone calls, the there are so many good nuggets there, and I'm trying just to refresh my mind and on my favorite takeaway. And it was, you know what? I like how you asked your tenants for a tenant score, and then you're very clear in your response. If they had a tenant score, and this is, I have no credit for this. This is all kudos to Sam. He's like, I asked them for the credit score. If they know their credit score, it's probably accurate. If they don't know it, then it's probably not going to be good. And then if they know it and then they're not wanting to tell you, it's not very good at all. And it's a very good indicator of filtering on the phone. Now, is it the be all and end all? No, there's definitely more to it, but it's just a one neat little pro tip that Sam threw out for us last time he was on the show. So, Sam, I'm going to open up the stage to you. Chris and I will sit back here. You wanted to focus on marketing, and maybe perhaps as we start this conversation about marketing, why is it so important?
So with the marketing, a lot of landlords have to understand this is where everything starts. But actually, it's not necessary. A lot of people thinking about marketing is start from your advertisement. But I can tell you right off the bat, it actually starts with your unit. If your unit is not properly maintained, it doesn't matter how you Photoshop with your marketing materials. When people come in, they will never rent from you as well, right? So a lot of people, a lot of landlords that they did not know the perception value when people look at your marketing material and the actual unit. If they don't match, there's a big disconnect there, then you waste all your marketing effort. Therefore, your marketing should start from your maintaining the house from day one, like proper patch all the holes, make it clean. You don't need the most shiny product in the market, but you do need a very well-maintained and clean and safe product for your marketing materials.
So there's a good difference you're highlighting there, Sam. I'm going to emphasize what you're trying to get across for the message. So you don't need, the $10,000 stainless steel appliance kitchen with all the granite countertops. That's not what we're seeing here. We're saying that product that you have, it's got to be clean, it's got to be painted. You don't want holes in the drywall. You want it just to look like pride of ownership is probably what you're trying to convey in that message. And that is part of your marketing. So going back, and I really like how you highlight this part, Sam, where you're saying, hey, if you're marketing and the image you're presenting on your advertisement is not congruent with your messaging on the viewings, on the conversation you have on the phone, you're going to get disconnects. You're going to get lots of viewings, but no phone calls. You're going to get phone calls, but no requests for viewings. You're going to get viewings, but no applications coming in. And that's what you're trying to get at here, Sam, by this presentation of how you set your property across to the tenants?
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. It is like your marketing materials have to reflect the actual unit, the actual unit, how it looks. I know a lot of landlords will Photoshop the picture, virtual staging. It doesn't matter how nice you do it. You might able to trick them into your unit, but if the unit is not looking great in real, then you're just wasting your own time, right?
Yeah,
you actually
no applications.
You actually set the you actually set the actual expectation is right here, but your unit is right down there, right?
Yeah.
So don't even look at marketing when clients come to us and then they say, hey, I want to rent this place out. The first thing we look into the house, if it is not up to par for like livable standard, we don't even start any marketing, right? Yeah. This is where I want to go come across for the first point.
That's so valuable and so important, Sam. It's like you're taking your car to the races and you're not doing any mechanical work. You've got no air in the tires. It's not running properly. How do you expect to win the race or even be competitive? This is exactly that. I think you just I totally agree with you, and I do get that question quite a bit. Is, hey, I've been advertising for 6 weeks, I haven't got a bite, or I get phone calls, but no one wants to go out for a viewing. You got to have consistency in that messaging, and then once that message is consistent and you're offering what you're saying, it is now about getting that message out as far as wide as possible to get the volume in to get a selection of good tenants. But I'm going to stop talking because this is definitely your stage, Sam. So where do we go from here?
Okay, then we will start marketing the place. Obviously, a quality marketing materials you need to advertise your place. It's funny enough that if you jump on Ranfaster, Kijiji, I can tell you easily, you can tell at least 80% of the advertisement have very bad photos. Every landlord should know that they need good photos. It's just no one ever take the effort to do it. There's very common sense that still you can see so much bad photos on the advertisement. A lot of the time, like nowadays, it's so easy with new iPhone or Samsung or every camera, every cell phone right now have a wide lens feature that you can use. If you're able to just take a couple of nice photos with those new phone, then you can avoid this problem. Cell phone picture is okay, but make sure when you do the cell phone picture, you just need to use the wide angle feature. And guess what? If you don't have that new cell phone, ask your spouse to buy it for your Christmas gift now. That's the best thing. Best thing you for work, right? For rental, right?
Yeah, right off.
Yeah. So photos you cannot. Photos is so important that you have to have it because people look at photos. That's the starting point.
I was just going to add on to that, and Sam. So I'll ask you this question: when someone goes and looks at an ad or looks at MLS, do they go and read through the paragraph or two first, or do they flip through the first 15 photos and make a decision if they like it or not? What happens first?
Exactly, the photos. It's actually the action step how tenant go through an ad. So basically, you have to understand everyone look at advertisement mainly from a cell phone right now. So they will scroll through everything. So you need to have multiple hook that to stop them scrolling to the next page. So your photo is the first one, obviously. And not only the photos, it's the first photo is the most important one. The first photo you have to be so important that enough to showcase your place so that they will stop and look further information. And I have to go deeper in this photos as well. Is like your photos can, like a lot of people post like the front of the house or maybe the kitchen. Those are the most common see photos. You did not distance yourself from the other competitor by just doing that. Okay, I would say if you do a quick search, maybe at least 55% of photos is the front of the house. It did not tell you anything about the house. Okay, maybe a good 35% is the kitchen. Okay, which is usually the most beautiful spot, which is fine too. But a lot of places now have the same color kitchen, color cabinet, stainless steel appliances. So it did not bring you out as well. So what we do now, a pro tip that we sometimes we will do is like we will edit on the photos and then we'll add some feature on the photos. So we will put some text on the photos. On my first photo, say, hey, 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse in Millwood, address, something like that. On the photo. So if they are not reading your text, at least they are reading your photos. Just by looking at the first photos, they know exactly where this locate.
I love it. I'm going to build on that, Sam. I've got it's 3 things here, so hopefully I don't forget them all because I was kind of like racking them in my brain as you're going through stuff. Yeah, like number one, photos are so important. It's so worth, to be honest, just paying the $35 to $110, whatever that value is, to get the photos done. Easiest way to find a photographer right now, if you don't have one, go on MLS, go on realtor.ca, start looking at houses in your area, find a house that just shines in the pictures, reach out to that realtor and ask them who they use for the photographer, because realtors know this game inside and out, and that's why they've got such amazing photos to look at. And you don't really want just any photographer. You actually want a photographer based on real estate. And the reason why Sam was already talking about it was those wide angles. They're going to make the rooms look nice and big and showcase them really, really well. If you just take a picture and you only capture half the corner of a room, it doesn't give you the right feeling and volume of what that room should look like. So having those wide angle shots that real estate photographers do really, really well, and they actually make the rooms not look dark. They're nice and bright. They'll catch them on they'll come in at noon or 1 o'clock during the day on a bright day and capture really just outstanding pictures. Those get the tenant all the way through your listing. They'll flip through all the pictures and start reading your text. But if you don't have that part secured on your marketing, you're shooting yourself in the foot for anything down the road. Okay, that was one. Two, Sam, you took one of my pro tips away. I was so excited when you said that, is the text on the picture. You know for sure they're going to look at the picture. So highlight something that's really good about your property. For example, one of my properties, I've got trailer parking out in the back. So I put right in that photo where I'm showing the back of the house and the alley parking, I have a nice long arrow along the parking zone that says 25 feet. So that tenant knows right away, oh man, I can fit my 19-foot trailer in here. That's awesome. They're already thinking ahead of how they're going to live in that place. And these are the questions that will come through the mind. So if you've got unique amenities or something that sells your property, highlight that with the text in the ad. And then I had the third thing and I lost it. So, all right, good enough then. So anyway, back to you, Sam. I just keep on going. I love it.
Yeah, so with the photos, there's a lot the photos can do for you, but people just never pay attention to it. It can do a lot. For example, most of the platform, Kijiji, Runfaster, they at least give you 10 photo space that you can, so choose your photos smartly. If you're using Kijiji and you only get 10 photos, Runfaster, those have a lot of spaces, then upload whatever you have. But how to arrange your photos is a key as well. You do not want to just randomly dump all the photos on the ad. You want to properly arrange it so that you're kind of walking through them through the house.
Yeah.
Another pro tips we do is in summer month, we like to make sure our outside photos in the front of the lease. And then in winter month, we make sure we have some bright lighting photos in the front. Different season.
In the beginning
yeah, the orders. Yeah.
Right.
Different season give people different feeling. And for example, in winter, we like to put a garage in the front because people in Alberta need a garage.
Warm vehicles, no snow scraping. You're appealing to the emotional side of living. That's awesome. And it just came back to me, the two things I remember. I'll quickly add them in before we continue on. I should, by the way, I've never really, I always put my photos in the order of walking through the house to give them that feeling, but I've never thought of appealing to the current season. So Sam, that's a phenomenal pro tip. I've just learned something new tonight. It's now in my toolbox. Two things though. One is when you guys are also shopping for the photographer too, you actually, especially if you have a suite of property and you don't need or have access to get pictures all done at once, you can usually get a discount for only taking pictures of half the property. Because usually when these real estate photographers price out packaging for photos, they're doing 20 or 30 or 40 shots, and they're doing everywhere in the house, outside, upstairs, downstairs, everywhere else. If you're only getting half the property done, that's a negotiable factor to reduce your pricing. The other thing on a fraud mitigation technique is throw your logo into or an email into the bottom corner of the photos or somewhere where it can't really be cropped out easily. And the reason by doing this is it doesn't happen. I don't hear it too often considering how long we've been in the group here, but it does happen occasionally where someone will capture your photos and your address and create a fake ad and then try to capture a damage deposit remotely without ever meeting in person. So to prevent this, you got to have your contact information imprinted on the image somewhere so no one can easily take over your ad. They'll look at it, they won't bother with it, and they'll move on. So there's a fraud mitigation technique as well into Sam's pro tips on marketing. Okay, back to you, Sam.
I actually learned something new now. It actually happened to us. Someone contact us, say, "Hey, I recognize your photos on another ad, and they're trying to scam people, right?" So now I'm going to put my company logo in the bottom right. It does help.
Yeah.
That's why you want to share on this platform, because now you learn something new all the time, right?
Every day, man. It does not fail the ability to learn stuff on here. So cool. All right, we're sharing pro tips. All right, man, let's keep to it.
So we talked quite a bit about the photos. Now we'll move to the ad itself, the body. A lot of the platform allow you to have a header. Okay, that space is so critical that you have to use this very smartly. Yeah. That header, let's say Kijiji, there is like 65 character. You can use Facebook, I think it's 80. But the funny part is sometimes they don't show it all. So make sure your header have the most important message in the front of the headline. And then you want to point out that something your competitor don't have, right? If your unit have a dishwasher and your competitor don't have it, you make sure you put dishwasher on the header. I see some landlord or some property management company might put the address on that header, just easier for them to respond ad. I will never suggest you do that because that you're selling pieces right over there.
Yeah, it's another point, another communication medium or point in your ad. It's another touch point. So why not use it to your advantage and get more drive or desire out of it? And I love that you're talking about a competitive advantage on your ad. Put it right up front, right? So, you know, if you're close to dog walking parts, you know, 5 minutes away from walking big parts for your dog, do you have a 7-minute walk to the C train or E train up in Edmonton, LRT, things of that nature? Could you do a call to action as well, Sam, in your header or your title?
Not in the title, because the title space is so valuable for me.
So small, yeah.
And also the title also serve another purpose. Some platform use it as the keywords to search, right? So normally my title always have the area, like let's say Millwoods in Edmonton, so I will put Millwoods. I even heard Google, I never do that myself too. They say you should put Edmonton in the title so that Google will pop up your listing. I don't think that is that relevant, to be honest. But let's say Kijiji, I know Kijiji, Facebook itself, if you have that location and people searching for specific area, that title will rank up for your search result.
Cool. That does make a lot of sense. Like when I can echo that, at least from when I was building the YouTube channel, was you wanted to know the exact terminology that people were searching to find the content that you're providing, and you wanted to use them in multiple places. You get hashtags or tags on the actual description. The keywords, the first 3 to 4 sentences are the most important. And then that title, it typically has some eye-catching element to get them to click on the video as well. So we're echoing kind of the same thing, but different platform and different need. But I like that you don't actually do the call to action, because I've always struggled with it. I tried incorporating that, but then, like you said, right, there's a certain character limit on these titles, depending if it's on Kijiji, Rent Faster, Facebook, or wherever you're marketing, that doesn't do the message too good if you only get half of it out there and it doesn't make sense. So you want to be cognizant of the preview when people click on what they can actually see.
Yeah. And this leads to what I'm going to share then is the wordings that you choose. You have to choose very carefully as well. A lot of us landlord, we're so get used to our language, but we never talk the tenant's language. Totally. So you might put stainless steel appliances, but guess what? No one will search for appliances. They will search for dishwasher, right? So your wordings, you have to choose very carefully so that they can search you for your ad.
So you want it. So the key here, and what Sam is really highlighting is so important, is using absolute descriptions. So don't do, beautiful kitchen or fully loaded kitchen. You're going to be dishwasher, gas stovetop, double-sized oven, double-sized extra wide sink, or whatever those features are. Explain them explicitly in the ad, because if someone wants that specific feature and it's really important to them, that's the word they're going to search in the search field. And that's why this is important.
Yeah, definitely. So even the header and just the photos already, I would say is 50% of the importance when people click on your ad or not, right?
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. And then now we move into the body of the ad. Okay. I shared a little bit last time about the body of the ad. How I structure my ad is always the same platform. I don't mind you guys share it out too. How I do my ad, I always do the 4 important lines on the very top, which is what is the rent? The address. What is the rent? And then do I allow pet? And then I will do credit check. So basically, the first 4 lines already cover the most important information. And if the tenant respond my ad, asking me where is it or do you allow pets, those lead I will not respond, because if you cannot read the first 4 lines, I'm not going to waste my time with this lead.
So that's your tire kicking filter technique. I love that. So basically you're putting the most frequently asked questions in the first top spots at the very top of it. And if someone comes and asks you something you've clearly already answered in your ad, you just simply move on, don't respond to them. Yeah, man, that's solid. So I'm gonna start doing that now. I typically have like I usually do a call to action with some sort of a really good amenity or feature. But I'm gonna switch to that. What I do in terms of filtering the tire kickers is I have my scripted 10 questions, or my questions I always ask. I have it on Google Keep on my phone. So if I get a text message, if I get an email or any other Facebook Messenger or whatever, I copy and paste, and it comes out like a page and a half. I dump into a text message and I send them this massively long text. And usually the people that aren't serious don't ever respond back to me again. And the reason I like doing it that way is because I don't want to come across as if I'm what's the word for it? Not prejudice, but I want to appear to be fair in my tenant selection process, whatever the right word is for that. It's not coming to me right now. So I always put the ball back on the onus on that tenant to provide all the information I need before I move the next step. And 9 times out of 10, or almost every time, the tenants who are not serious will filter themselves out of the process right off the catch for you. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So that 4 line is like a screening, mini screening step that we talked about last 2 weeks on the last show.
Yeah.
So to continue, then I will put my call to action. I will say, text now this number. A lot of people debate, should you put your cell phone number there? I do put my cell phone number there. Nowadays, you need a quick response.
Yeah.
And I only receive lead through text. If it is from Kijiji or Ramfaster or Rambot, Facebook, they have their own messenger, right? So it's irrelevant. The reason why I only respond to texts is recorded for me, so I can always go back and check what they tell me before. Yeah. And second is, if they cannot afford a cell phone in today's market, the chances they will be approved for your tenant will be quite low as well.
There you go. Yeah. Absolutely. Shoot, I had a train of thought. I'm losing it now. I'm off my game right now. But Sam, you're providing lots of good information. And so you talk about building in like this little psychology test into your ad to test the quality of tenants applying to you if they don't bother reading the full ad. I do something very similar. I think we talked about this last time too, but I'll just highlight it again because we've got lots of new people on the show. Is when I get to the part of booking my viewing, so maybe I'm jumping ahead here, is I get them to confirm an hour and a half before the actual time of the viewing. They have to send me a text to confirm that they're still going to make it. So I don't go and drive out to location, especially if I'm half an hour across the city, find out that they're not going to be there and waste my entire evening when I come in with my wife and my kids. I learned long ago that I'm not doing that anymore. So I force every tenant that's serious to send me a confirmation an hour and a half, whatever you guys determine is important to yourself. And if they take the time to organize themselves and to remember to send a text, I know that they're interested, and it also saves me from no shows. So yeah. Oh, those are usually the second step when people respond to our ad. Then we'll go through those process. We just on the ad itself, we still try to put multiple check stop so that they check themselves out, so that they won't contact me if they know they are not qualified, right? Yeah. So go back to the ad. We have the first 4 lines, and then I have the call to action. The next body is the feature list. I do like to do a feature, and then I have 10 points. Point form is way easier for tenant to read, especially on a cell phone. If you're trying to put through a paragraph, it's very difficult for them to read. So the point form, it actually helped me to showcase what the feature I want to highlight. At the same time, a lot of mistake we see landlord put their ad is they only put feature, they never put benefit. You have to write your advertisement in a way that
you say 3-bedroom, 2 full bath. What does that 2 bath means to them? That's the benefit. So for example, you have to write some wording, say, oh, now you have a 2nd bathroom, so your girlfriend don't have to kick you out all the time, right?
Yeah.
So these are the benefit that you have to put in there. So then when they read it, oh, they say, awesome, the full 2nd bathroom is what I want.
Yeah, exactly. That's, speaking their needs, right? And that goes, like, going back to describing that garage, just don't call it a 2-bay heated garage. Call it, your car will always be dry when it's -30 out and no snow to scrape because you have a heated garage with this property.
Yeah,
Speaking
definitely.
in results, I love it. Cool.
Yeah, so when we done with the feature 10 point form, and then now I'll put the call to action again. In general, they say you should put 3 times for your call to action for people to pick up the phone to call you or text you now. Okay. So we will do the call to action the 2nd time. Okay. And then if I feel like I need to put a small paragraph, I don't like long wordy advertisement, I will just do short paragraph. Then I will just highlight some feature that I either did not cover or I want to emphasize, like, for example, location, or if you're a private landlord and you offer cleaning every tenant turnover, right? So those I will put there as an extra highlight. And then the last pieces is call to action again.
Cool. That's super detailed and well framed out, Sam. That's some great pro tips. I'm gonna be rewriting my ads after this conversation. So awesome. Keep it up.
Hey, Mac, we were looking here where one of the users said about they won't even reply to people unless they've read the ad. And if you ask a question that's in the ad that just frustrates them, it just made me tweak with one of the things when I advertise on Facebook in our local communities. Facebook's so annoying in how it's good, but it's bad. And it's the people who click, literally you post the ad and you can tell it's only minutes old.
Oh, because
and you get a click, is this still available?
To ask.
Yeah. Is this still available? And it's like, you know what? I don't even want to reply. And, or they say, well, how much is the damage deposit? And at the bottom you say security deposit, same as rent. And they ask you that. And those are Sam, do you see those as flags as to the when people are asking questions that are already addressed in an ad that's there? How do you filter those people in any way? Does that drive you crazy?
It's actually very easy for me to screen them out. So the very typical responses for Facebook, first of all, they have an easy button called is available. When you click it, they don't even have to type it out, right? That's why you get so many is it available text through the platform. But the easiest way we do is we actually respond is please text my number, and then we'll discuss from there, right? That create a second layer. If they don't pick up the phone to text me, right? Now I don't even respond to those leads, right? And then when they text me, then the next question I'll ask, which address you responding. Well, I dealt with quite a bit of rental at the time, right? So I do need to know which one you're responding. And this is the reason why my advertisement have the address on the first line. The most I can share what is annoying to me is like I bold type is a main floor unit or is a basement unit, and people still assuming it's the house. That annoy me a lot.
And that goes back to my mechanism dealing with the tire kickers was I said, okay, if you're going to send me one, is it available or can I book a viewing tomorrow type question? Don't introduce yourself. Don't tell me what you're looking for. Don't put any effort to shop in it. I will send you back a page and a half. Well, it looks like a page and a half. It's not really, but on a text message, it looks like that. It's a couple screenful of my entire screen process. Okay, if you're not going to put any effort, here's all my questions. I've responded within minutes because it's copied and paste. I look organized. I look professional. I am quick. And they usually never respond. And sometimes, you know what? They go, holy crap, this guy knows what he's doing. He's all organized. And I do get a response. And I'll get 3 or 4 text messages with my 10 or 12 answers I'm looking for. And they're like, okay, you know what? This person's taking the time to answer my questions. And they look like a tire kicker. I will continue pursuing them. But usually they don't. But yeah, so it kind of works the same way, a different take on it.
Bill Beagle puts up here that the response is it's a Facebook issue. It's by lazy people. And you know what, Sam, you did kind of hit on my thing where things that there are little things that tweak with each of us and that annoy us. And you look at whether people are genuinely interested in your property is how they open that initial dialogue and talk to you, right? So
so this is why we spend quite a bit of time just talking about how to create your advertisement. If you create it properly, that's where everything starts, and then it helps you to screen out a lot of, let's say, professional tenant, or your ad, even screen out people that don't qualify from day one, because you tell them you do the credit check from day one, right? From the very beginning. I do want to change a little bit direction now. I want to talk about the platform a little bit to help all the landlord, because this is important as well.
I'm gonna add one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you go that way, Sam. So something that when we had our conversation yesterday with Greenleaf, so a professional property management company, they provided a very good tip that I didn't even think of. It's like, oh, that's brilliant. Was they? I personally have not used Facebook to advertise because I get really good traction with Rent Faster. It works really well in the big cities here in Alberta, so Calgary and Edmonton. But I get that it might be the main go-to platform for your area. If it is an area that you guys use Facebook on a regular basis to advertise your listings, something to consider. So you set that professional image up front, and this is again part of that filtering process that we've talked about. Is you want to do like a rental page that will respond on behalf of you for your ads on Messenger on Facebook. Because if you respond back to a Facebook message about someone inquiring on a property and it's your personal profile, whether you like it or not, you've personalized that conversation. And now you no longer look like a professional landlord or property management person running a rental property. You look like Mackenzie Wilson holding his son at the playground on his profile picture, and it changes the tone of the conversation a bit. And it might be inviting more of the professional tenants to come in because they think, okay, this person doesn't have that professional persona that we're used to seeing, that we wouldn't normally touch those ads.
I actually listened to the recording from yesterday interview. I do want to add on a little bit to change the conversation to give different perspective.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm a investor. I'm a very educated investor. In the end of the day, if you're a investor, if your audience is a investor, in the end of the day, property management shouldn't be what you're doing. You are buying a job for yourself. You should hire out for professional to do the job. Okay. But I do know in your audience, in your members, a lot of them are maybe accidental landlord, or maybe they just have a small operation, or mom and pop operation that you have one rental. I do want to bring something for them to use. Okay. What they say is awesome if you can do the professional image to show to the tenant, but it doesn't mean that you cannot be a professional landlord as a private landlord. Yeah. I want to bring out is private landlord actually have some competitive advantage that property management company don't have. Okay, private landlord actually, I can tell you, we dealt with a lot of tenants. A lot of tenants actually do not like to go with a property management company to rent from them. The reason being is they might have some bruised credit. They need some forgiving from a private landlord that can talk to, or maybe they come out from a bad property management company, which is quite highly possible, and they are lack of response from those companies. Let's say there's a deferred maintenance and takes 3 months to fix. In a private landlord setting, a lot of the time we jump in and fix it the next day, right? Yeah. So there is a group of tenants do like to rent from private landlord. What we have to do if we are the private landlord is we just have to still react like professional. I don't worry too much with my personal Facebook page. I like them to know me a little bit too, because down the road is a relationship business. With the relationship, sometimes you can get yourself out of the situation through the relationship if you screen the right one. For example,
I've been there. I've definitely been
yeah.
there. Yeah.
And he's the glitch for using property management. Property management have to be consistent and they have to play by the book. We as a private landlord, we can make decision on the spot to adapt to the situation. We done so many tenant placement. We never need to hard eviction anyone. We do run into maybe less than 5 scenario that we have to let the tenant go, but we work it through a like humanly way that everyone is happy, so that people have to understand when situation happen, a good tenant can turn back very fast when you're talking about money. So if you can leverage your relationship and work it out with them, sometimes you have to understand the most important pieces in a situation happening is take back possession. It's not about chasing them for the $100, $200, or $2,000. It's take back your keys, kick them out. Now you deal with the legal stuff, right? So this is why
you're
I see
the perfect point, Sam. Like I'm gonna hop in here. Just like really good information is I've had one eviction. So yeah, if you're in the game long enough, it will eventually happen. And I talked the tenant out of my property. It was the short of it. I just because exactly what you said, Sam. I had a relationship. I was easily approachable, and I just really laid it out in a very pragmatic fashion, saying like, if you were in my shoes, what would you be doing? And they pretty much said, yeah, I'd probably be asking you to leave. So I'm like, okay, so when are you going to leave? And then we organized a time frame, and they moved out. So if I had to go through the eviction process, because this was at November of last year, oh man, and I had to try renting over Christmas and stuff like that. It would have been a lot more tougher. So I bought myself some marketing time and hopefully avoid a month of vacancy by expediting that process and having the tenant agree to it. So yeah, and like you said, there's pros and cons. If you guys are serious into the game, at some point you're going to want to outsource to a property manager, because like you said, Sam, you're buying yourself a job. The difference here is we're giving you guys all the tools. Everything takes time. We're giving you all the knowledge to do it today. If you're not in the position or you don't want to take on that responsibility, then property management is definitely the right choice. So continue on.
So just that's why I'm just trying to bring the perspective that as a private landlord, you do have your good and the bads as well, right? The bad is you are getting easier to get targeted by professional tenant, but the good is with a lot of I can tell you a good portion of tenant actually like to rent from private landlord. They actually ask for. They will ask us a question: are you guys a private landlord that you own the building, or you are a management company?
Quite often. I never really kind of tied into what that meant. Well, kind of thought about, but yeah, do you own the property or this or that? And you know, an easy way too to keep yourself this neutral middleman and be on the side of the tenant to keep the communication keep the communication strong is you could third party the blame. Meaning, yeah, you know what? I work with a partner or I work with an investor and I manage a handful of properties. Make whatever backstory you want, but just say, you know what, when they ask for something that you don't agree with, yeah, you don't have to answer in the spot. So, you know, let me go and talk to the owner and I'll get back to you on that. And then you come back to that owner didn't want that. They didn't like that. I'm sorry. I tried. And then you've sell that property without directly saying no, or you being the person that's saying no, you've third partied it. So side tip for managing day-to-day conversations.
Even though they know I am the owner, I still say, hey, I have to check with my partner. It just happens my partner is my dog, my cat, who cares? Who knows, right?
Same idea.
Yeah.
My partner exactly is is Spot. So
but the pro tip you just share is like buying the time so you can ask the platform, see any other landlord run into the situation and get back to them, right? So this is the pro tip you just shared. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay. We're right at 8 o'clock. I know, Chris, you're on a tight schedule. You've got to take care of some stuff coming right away. Are you going to drop off now, Chris? You're on mute, by the way, too.
Yeah, sorry, I muted myself just because of the noise background. Yeah, I may slip out. Are you going to go a little bit longer?
Yeah, there is a bunch of comments. I think there's like 3 or 4 questions we haven't even touched base yet, so I want to make sure we help those people out. So if you got Jet, just disappear. We know why. Chris isn't going to abandon us. He's still going to come back next week. Sam and I will carry the show here and keep on having fun. So we'll segue.
Great. Thanks everybody for joining in. It's a pleasure. Keep putting the questions on the page. We love hearing them. Everybody learns from them. And Mac, I think we got one more show before Christmas break.
So I'm super excited. I'm going to totally segue. And Sam, you've been super patient, so I'm going to definitely give you some more time to wrap up this stuff. Two big things. We have another Greenleaf presentation the third Wednesday, 2 weeks from now. I've added that in. Plus, we just got our preferred property management company for Central Alberta. I'm finalizing that stuff today, but I'm going to share a name out there. Any of you guys in the Rain, Barry Maguire circles in Alberta here, this name will come at no surprise to you. Andrea Wilkinson is our go-to property manager for Central Alberta. Very, very well respected. She's now we talked today this afternoon, she's about 170 doors she runs. And she's going to be Central Alberta. So Red Deer, Innisfil, down the Olds, as far north as Chris's neck of the woods in Pinoka, and as far as Rocky Mountain House. I don't know how far east she's going to go, but there's not a lot of property management options out there. We'll showcase her. We got one show coming up here in the middle of December. It's kind of a weird month, because we're in these enhanced restrictions shutdown. Chris and I were talking about slowing things down, but there's nothing to do. So you know what? Let's have some good conversations as we get up to Christmas here and keep on providing you guys value. She'll come on, I'll answer questions, and she's extremely, extremely knowledgeable and quite excited to have you guys along, partnered along with Greenleaf down in Calgary. We're getting some really good conversation. So anyways, I segue. If you're going to disappear, Chris, do what you got to do, and I'll continue on with Sam. So,
great. I do have to put a little plug in for Andrea. I've met her personally, and she's an amazing lady. And my last little poke at the bear is Uncle Bill here. Bill Biko likes to poke at me here. So we'll get Uncle Bill back on here so everybody can learn from him. So I enjoy having Bill Biko on. So affectionately called Uncle Bill.
Oh, he says he misses you, Chris. Okay, I love it.
All right, Bill. Talk to you guys. Have a good one. Take care.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye-bye.
See you, Chris. Okay, bye. Okay, all right. Where did we leave that here, Sam? I'm totally. We segued there. Sorry, I lost our train of thought. So we're back. Where are we at for the conversation?
Well, today we will just focus more on marketing, right? Yeah. So we talk about you have a very nice ad created. Now you want to post it somewhere, right?
Yes.
Without going to so details because of the time we have, right? But this is where you don't post your ad. No one knows you have something to rent, right? And a lot of the landlord we run into is like, hey, I did not have my perfect photos, perfect ad. Should I still post it? I say, yes, you have to post it, even though it's not ready, just to generate lead, right? As early as you can. We are in a slow market that you do need that time. And then you can just slowly adjust your ad when it's more ready, right? Sometimes you have a tenant still in there. It's not easy to show the place, or you can't take photos. Still put up some photos from another unit. Just put a disclaimer, this is from a similar houses, right? Just get something going, right? So with different platform, I have to put a caveat here is because all these rental responses is really regional specific, and then it's really depends on your area and your audience, demographic,
Totally.
So I can only speak for Edmonton just because this is where I do my practice. I know Renfaster is big in Calgary, but I can tell you in Edmonton it's not as good.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the landlord will tell you Renfaster don't have as much lead. But another thing people have to understand is your platform have different audience. That's why different type of product will perform differently in different platform. For example, in Edmonton, if you're talking about a townhouse, duplex, those will not do good in Renfaster. The reason being is Renfaster is a map-based platform that you can see all the competition next to you on the same area. Everyone see you right next to each other, and like the townhouse and duplex, a lot of the time they looks very similar. That's why Renfaster don't work well for them. So you do have to pay attention to this stuff.
So
For
what
example,
would
you're
you
doing
recommend in those situations in Edmonton? If rent faster, so just to kind of explain and highlight what Sam's saying, rent faster, you look on the map, you see everything in the neighborhood block for 2 bedrooms, and you look at all the different properties. So it's really easy to see what your neighbor's offering and at the prices. You're saying for units that look very similar in shape and size, so condos, duplexes, things of that nature, they don't do well on that platform. So what do you do as an alternative?
Then you use first of all, you should use multiple platform, because you never know where the leads come from. But in those scenarios that we just talked about, then you put more heavier on some platform that use a lease space. Basically, is Kijiji, right? Or so Kijiji is based on the lease space, so you always have to bump up your ad. Then you are not direct compete with your next door neighbor, right?
That's right. Yeah.
And this is where I'm leading to the most 4 common platform that we use for Edmonton, give you a lot of result is Rentfaster, Kijiji, Rentboard. Have you heard about Rentboard?
Rentboard, I have. It's not super big here in Calgary, so I haven't used it.
Yeah, this is why I say it's very region specific. But Rentboard is really big in Edmonton, actually. A lot of our lead come from Rentboard. And I will go back and talk a little bit more about Rentboard, and then obviously Facebook, right? So Rentfaster is actually good for condo in here, because people train in shopping condo through Rentfaster. But I'm telling you, if you have someone from East Coast or Manitoba, or someone moving to Edmonton, they don't even know what is Rentfaster.
Yeah,
they don't even know the website, right?
Calgary-based company.
Yeah, they oh yeah, really? Oh, I don't know that. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, and this is why, like, for example, if you have a furnished rental, or you have a rental that targeting people moving into the town, a lot of the time Rentboard work very well for you to advertise. The reason being is Rentboard automatically synchronized to 12 other websites that you never heard about.
Yeah, it does the sync, what do you call that? So I want to highlight a good point you kind of got there, Sam. I don't know if Mr. Bill Beacle is still on the show, but Bill highlighted this very well. So he ran rooming homes here in Calgary. At his peak, he had 57 rooms he rented out individually across whatever it was, a half dozen properties. He said, so he would advertise on both Kijiji, and then what was the other one? What's the one with the peace sign? That's like it's like Kijiji.
Matt Pepper?
No.
It's
like a purple peace sign. It's Craigslist.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like Kijiji. And he said what would happen was he would get all the Eastern Toronto, Ontario folks coming into town temporarily would come to Craigslist, because that's what they're using out there. And then more local around Alberta folks would come off of Kijiji. So again, right, you want to advertise in multiple places, because again, and it's not like these things are stagnant. There's always trends going on in the marketplace where, people might be moving to another platform because it's easier to use to find the information they're looking for. So back to your point, Sam, of highlighting, you want to advertise at least more than one place.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why just understand different audience, use different platform, and different product work on different platform. But it is irrelevant, because your job for your advertisement is to create lead so that people can respond and come to see. Yeah. So it doesn't matter if this platform only create 1 lead or this one do 10 leads, you should still post on both of the platform to maximize your marketing exposure.
Yeah, and that goes back to your vacancy and closing that a lot quicker, because you're getting more responses faster. You've got more selection, you're doing more qualification. It just speeds up the entire process when you've got better selection.
Yeah.
So this might segue into a good question is, how does someone know where they should advertise?
Yeah. Well, you only know when you do split testing, right? You do need to post it on everywhere. But I can give some general guidance for people that who are listening through my experience. Again, it's a little bit more Edmonton specific. So if you are from Edmonton, lucky you get to pick my brain. If you are from Calgary, then you have to ask Mackenzie. So But so basically what we find is normally we find if it's a suite house, if it's a low average price house, a full house, those usually you get better response from rent board. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a very expensive infill house, like you're renting $2,000 to $3,000, those you get better result from rent faster. And then if you are targeting out of town audience, then rent board is a better place. Facebook is good for everything, but it's also bad for everything because the lead over there is so bad. So you just have to screen through all this lead. But Facebook is the most common platform now people use to search rental. It actually take over a lot of the volume from Kijiji actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
good to know. I'll riff on what you're saying there, Sam. For the folks that don't know where to rent and you need a starting place, search Google, put your product in, put your location, Calgary, Olds, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, wherever you are, and search, 2-bedroom, search basement suite, search main floor, search house, condo, whatever it is. And don't just do one search, do 5 or 6 and play around with the wording. You'll see the top 4 or 5 results are where people in your area are looking for properties. So if it comes back as Kijiji, Facebook, and something else, then you better be advertising in those 3 places. My caveat to that is Google can only rank stuff based on what it can index, meaning what it's allowed to scan off of a website. Facebook does not give all of its information away to Google for it to be searchable. So but basically that strategy works 99% of the time. There might be some small variance where one service could be a little bit more popular, but ranks a bit lower because it doesn't share all of its information with Google for search results. But anyways, if you don't know where to look, that would be the easiest way to get going. There's your IT tech tip of the week. So
yeah.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're almost at quarter after. I'm gonna go through here quickly. I had one question right at the very beginning from where is it here? I don't know how to say his name. Oh, it's Facebook user, so I don't even have his name in front of us or her name. Where do you guys look at when buying your next rental property? That's a completely different show. That's market investing fundamentals. I'll tell you what, you come back on that show when we have Andrew on the show, or either Sam and I can answer that right now, but it's not like a 2-minute answer. It's a bit of a system that works. Just trying to think. Did you see any of the questions come by there as we're talking that you wanted to touch base on?
I do see one comment come in say Rentbot only allows 6 pictures, which is not true.
Okay.
Rentbot do allow I think more than 20 pictures. So maybe you can privately reach out to me. I can walk you through that, no problem. Cool. Yeah, and I also want to see another question, but I lost it now.
Yeah, this is where Chris is really good because he keeps, when I get talking, as I sometimes talk a bit or a lot, he kind of brings up in a timely manner so we can stay on track. But okay, well, you know what? I'll tell you what. Let's wrap it up here. I'm gonna go back and review the notes, and I'll reach out to people individually, and we might tag them in for another show. Sam, buddy, thank you so much for your time. One of my favorite conversations. I really do enjoy having you on the show because your attention to detail is very focused, like myself, at the tenant screening process, and I like how you approach it. And I learned a few good tips from you tonight, so much appreciative for that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm happy to share. Like a lot of the tips really come from how I do it. Like I'm no one smarter. It's just I do it a little bit more than a lot of people. So that's why I have those experience. So a lot of them is very practical tips.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, when you screened, you placed what 250 tenants over a 2-year period for the landlords. That's essentially owning 250 properties that you got experience in, or owning one property and renting out 250 times. So as one way to expedite your learning process. So yeah, it's awesome. These are all so valuable, great tips. And I do the 10 screen course out. I'm not going to lie. I'll give you credit, Sam, but I'm totally adding some of these into the thing because They're such golden tips. They're awesome. So people are giving me some high fives out there, guys. If you like what we're doing, give our show a thumbs up, say hi, say thank you. We really appreciate it. It's kind of the fun thing we're doing right now when there's nothing else to do right now. But I like talking about this stuff anyways because I do have a YouTube channel. I'm a little bit nerdy. Sam, man, you're so knowledgeable. Thank you very much. And where can people find you? Do you have a charity or a passion project you want to share? I want to give you a little bit of limelight to share something important to you.
A lot of the time, what we're working on right now is if you do not want to be a landlord, because it's a big process, sometimes you don't have to be a landlord. Outsource it to a property management, or even like there's a lot of investors out there willing to take over your house. You just need to work it out. Don't drag yourself in a situation that you don't know what you're doing. Take a course if you need. Take McKinsey course, right? To educate yourself. But if you are not in that position, sometimes it's better outsource than trying to just do it yourself. That's what I would share.
Totally. That's great tips. Super fun. Yeah, hey, that was awesome. So I don't really have anything else to add other than I know some people are asking questions about this new Alberta Landlord community. I'll quickly add on that. Why should I join it over Facebook? We already have this huge group on Facebook. There's already 2,000 plus users, all this stuff. Guys, it's got more tools, more value. But probably the biggest thing is at 2,000 users, there is a pro tip almost 2 to 3 times a day getting shared in our group that after a week, it disappears in the oblivious of Facebook and are impossible to find. And I think that's a travesty. I wanted to go to a better platform that we can always find this information when you need it and when you need it most. So that is the reason why we're going that way. So to segue on top of that, we're our episode 27 or 28 now. So I have literally over a day's worth of solid continuous content. Now, if you guys are keeners, it's all available for free. Giver, go for it. If not, what I'm doing is I'm taking the condensed form. I'm getting a video editor to go through all 27 hours worth of content. And if I answered that one question 5 episodes ago at the 47th minute mark, and it's only a 3-minute long answer, it's only going to be it's going to be one answer per video, and it's all going to be hashtagged and very easy to categorize to find on the new platform. There's a good reason right there to switch over so you can find answers quickly and easier. So, anyways, I've ranted lots, and lots of good high fives out there and all that. And let's wrap it up. We're an hour and 20. So, folks, thanks for tuning us tonight. I'm probably going to drag Sam back on the show at some point in the future because I really enjoyed this conversation. Thanks for tuning in to the only show dedicated to Alberta landlords, the Alberta Landlord Shop Talk Show. Until next time, we'll see you guys next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Thanks, Sam.
Bye-bye.